doctors against undeath. We stand and fight with every breath against the blight of the Blacklift's keep. His army marches without rest or sleep.
He really didn't like being shocking grasp, so he is going to make a slam attack on Ark. And the first one is with advantage, because apparently that's a thing that he can do. 14?
No.
Okay. His second attack is a 25.
Well, that hits.
Okay. Let me take 10 points of bludgeoning damage. And you see this creature turn and look at the guard captain and shrieks something. Does anyone speak Abyssal?
No.
This what video? Okay. Okay, none of you know what it means. It just sounds... Heave, you speak primordial, so you get a sense that there's something deep and dark and evil about these creatures, but you don't get a sense of what it was that they're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
I speak primordial.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you both got that sense that this is something dark and infernal.
In case the shapeshifting and the frightened experience didn't give that away.
Right.
Lexi.
So can I just clarify, just remind me, I would know that I'm frightened. Like, it's not like one of those charmed ones where you don't really know that it's got you.
Yeah. So...
You can't willingly move towards. And you attack with disadvantage.
It's not the same as one of those.
Cool. Let me just see what's... Okay, so I'm looking at a... I want to cast a circle that will cover, a 20-foot circle that will cover basically Ark and Heave. And by definition would also therefore cover the guards and the convicts. And I need Ark and Heave and any of the guards, if they're also frightened, to make a charisma saving throw. Is that 20 feet?
It's 20 feet.
Awesome. Then, Bren wasn't frightened anyway. I am wondering here, if I'm casting this, but each humanoid in the 20-foot radius sphere makes the throw, does that include them? Technically or not? I've never tried to do this on myself before.
Let's say for argument's sake that, yeah, you can include self. Yeah.
Cool. So I guess we're all doing charisma checks.
Charisma check. Not a save.
Charisma saving throw.
Yep. I got lucky and I got a 19 on the die, which is good because I got a +0 to charisma.
Yeah, I didn't actually want you to save it. You can choose to fail it if you want to.
Oh, I can choose to fail it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure, then.
Guys, I
based
need
on
you
that,
to trust me.
Okay. All right, then I will choose to
I
fail.
wouldn't resist anything you're casting on me, Lexi.
That's how you
I know
got
you
this mess in the first place.
Yeah.
I only just stopped myself from saying good girl then. So, for everyone who fails the charisma saving throw, You are no longer frightened.
Okay.
So I
That's
can
good.
actually suppress any effect that causes any of the targets in this area to be
Yep.
charmed or frightened.
Yes. So you're casting
Oh,
calm
sweet.
emotions. So
Yeah. Now
it's a
it does.
concentration spell. So
Yeah,
you,
I was
while
about
you're
to tell them that.
concentrating, it is suppressed.
Yeah. So it is a concentration spell, and it hasn't gotten rid of it entirely, so the duration will come back.
Okay.
But for now,
Not
none
if
of you
you
have
kill him first.
That's what I was hoping for.
Okay. All right. That's a good win there. And that brings us down the order. That's the end of the order. And it brings us back to the guard captain at the top of the round. He is prone. He is going to take half of his movement to stand up. And he's going to see Heave over him, and recalling the recent attack, he's going to make a slam attack with his limp. So the first one of the round with advantage. 9. Doesn't hit.
No, unfortunately not.
And he tries to slam you with the second hand, which is going to think for a minute. Come on. 22.
That will hit.
You take 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ooh. Okay, I'm still fine.
Okay. And let's stay where he is, I guess, because you've
Yeah, you don't want to walk away. You don't want to.
you've made it pointless for him trying to frighten anyone currently. Okay. So he stays where he is, and Arindus is
Arindus is going to move him to 30 feet to the top of the tower and cast less at second level. So getting Lexi, Ark, Heave, and Bren.
Very kind of you.
So that's D4 to attacks and saves.
okay.
So yeah, combat guidance.
Combat guidance. Yeah.
Just for if the calm
that's a
emotions
concentration as
drops,
well.
it'll give you a D4. Yeah, it'll give you if the calm emotions drops, it'll give you a D4 on the wisdom save to get out of the frighten. So she's going to do that and then just hold. So she's just hovering. She's off on the edge of that tower.
Okay.
For what it's worth, I don't think anyone's used their D6 inspiration we got at the beginning either.
That's true. Actually, that's
I
a good
don't think
point.
we have yet. No.
In fairness, it hasn't been that you've been hugely challenged to this point. I think the only person
That
who
sounded
took,
like a threat.
the only person who took double digits of damage in that first wave was Heave. I can't even kill the NPCs.
Maybe
effectively.
Bren.
Yeah, he was close to
He
death
tried to kill
there.
himself. That was a damn
Yeah.
suicide run.
Okay, the convict that Heave healing worded is looking around, bewildered. He's chained, and so he's essentially restrained and can't really act.
Train him.
He's pretty well manacled to Ballista.
Okay,
Can't really go
alright.
anywhere. So that brings us to Ark.
So Ark is going to shocking grass the guard squire again with advantage.
Advantage.
So that is 18 to hit.
Hit.
For sure, 8 lightning damage.
8 points of lightning damage. Okay.
And that's my turn.
All right. It's Bren's turn now, and seeing the hideous monstrosity that emerged in front of him is clearly not his captain. Bren is now going to charge in and try and get into melee with the guard squire, and he's going to swing his short sword, and he misses. Okay, that's what he's got. So Bren swings and misses. The doppelganger looks back at him and just laughs. And it's Heave's turn.
So Heave's going to use his bonus action to move Hunter's Mark onto the guard captain. And then he's going to swing with his scimitar. And he gets the blessed dice as well. That's 17 plus 5, 22 to hit.
Yeah, it hits.
Okay, so that's essentially 2d6 because of the Hunter's Mark plus 5. Okay, so that's only 8 damage, 8 slashing damage. But Heave can make a second attack because of the mastery of the scimitar. So second attack. Oh, that's better. 22 plus 5 is 28 to hit.
That
26 to 27 hit. Yeah. And now I get to roll 2d6 again. That
hits.
is
If
8
that's your
slashing damage.
mastery, if that's your
Yep.
mastery and you're using a light weapon as your offhand attack, it's a different weapon to your scimitar.
That's the thing. I was wondering. I was actually reading up on this as well before I read this because I was wondering, does that mean I need to use to have 2 scimitars? But it's here. When you make the extra attack of the light property, you can make it as a part of the action attack instead of a bonus action. It doesn't say specifically this weapon.
Yeah, so when you make a light weapon attack, so that's your dual wielding.
Yep.
It's 2 separate weapons. It's it's not you get to hit them twice. What else you got
Okay.
besides your scimitar?
Like short sword.
Yeah, there you go.
Would you allow that, or do you want me to take away one of the dice? Yeah.
That's fine.
I did roll 2 4s, so that's easy to separate as well.
Yeah, okay. 4?
2 4s, so that's an 8.
Perfect. Okay. All right, he takes some damage. Okay, and that brings us to the guard squire. He's no longer really a guard squire. He's the doppelganger monstrosity. He's look real human at all anymore. He's going to look around, and he looks at Bren for a second, takes a complete new form, and you see him a humanoid form.
Bastard.
Looks a lot like Bren, but older,
Bastard.
and he just cackles. And then he turns to Ark. Says, "Shock me now." And he's going to make 2 slam attacks. There's a 15 doesn't hit. I think your AC is 16.
That's right.
And the second attack is a 24.
That'll hit.
6 points of the bludgeoning damage. And he is not sure why his frightening of you all hasn't worked. I was trying to find a reason that he would be able to go and hunt Lexi to break her concentration, but I don't think that he would recognize what's going on from that point of view. He's going to stay where he is and hope to finish you all off. In the initiative order, that brings us down. So the other gunner over with Heave is groaning and bleeding and not really able to do very much useful stuff. He's in and out of consciousness. The other 2 guards, Mara and Talon, had decided they were going to wait for you guys, or that you would be able to handle it, and that they would keep watch on the wall, have started to move up to you in case you need help. And that brings us to Lexi.
I would like to move into sort of
there and request that your 2 doppelgangers make wisdom throws, please.
Hmm?
Wisdom saves.
Yeah. Wisdom saving throw. I'm just going to take away the circle of calm immersion because it keeps stopping anything useful. And 16 and 17.
Yep, that didn't work.
What were you casting?
I was attempting to use my Fey presence, but they both
Okay.
passed. So
Yeah.
that didn't work. Would you allow me as a bonus action as such a little bit of speech with them in the sense of who are you and what is happening?
Sure. Yeah. Who are you and what's going on? And we'll see if that does anything for us in a second when they take their turn. Arindus, can you make a perception check? Aye. Okay.
That was net.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So Arindus doesn't see it. Talon does. You hear a wanging noise and then a wet, fleshy thump down on the wall below you. But you can't see from where you are. None of you can see from where you are what's exactly happened. But you hear a distant noise and then you hear something strike the wall. And that brings us to the crawling hands. And you guys can't see it, but Talon and Mara are being attacked by a swarm of grasping zombie hands. Going to make
They're fucking nasty.
Yes.
yeah.
Like over the table,
Like
they're
it's
nasty.
like
They're
it's like
resistant to
thing,
almost
but
everything. Yeah.
it's a bag
Yeah.
of thing that's been
It's
yeah
very bad.
yeah
Yeah. Just for talent.
Oh,
and yeah. You hear a
Right.
scream
Yeah.
from the wall, and Arindus, you can't see what's happening, but Talon go down.
Sorry,
Okay.
Talon.
bastard had my arrows.
He wasn't using them well.
Yeah.
And then top of the round is the guard captain. Is going to, hearing Lexi call out to him, what's going on? He's still in the guise of Captain Hill, not really having had a second to drop it at this point. He says, we're evacuating, we're giving up, it's time to leave. We're going to just finish off these convicts rather than let them suffer at the hands of the necromancer.
Bullshit.
You promised us amnesty.
Like, his deception wasn't for one.
But yeah,
So,
Yeah, I called
I mean,
bullshit.
See,
Not going to have to test anyone's insight there. And seeing none of you are particularly moved by this, he's just going to He's going to slam Heave again. $26 to hit.
That will hit.
And he does 11 bludgeoning damage.
11. And next attack?
The other one missed. The other one's a miss. The second one, he rolled an 8.
Yeah, sure.
But seeing that the game is afoot, he is going to also do Unsettling Visage, and he's going to drop his form and appear as a true doppelganger, a true monstrosity. I won't make anyone roll a wisdom save yet because Lexi's Calm Emotions is working. Actually, Bren will need to roll a wisdom save.
He
Right,
was
that's
in
fine.
he was in Calm Emotions
yeah, he was there.
when it was
Yeah.
cast,
He was in the circle.
but he wasn't
And
could have
frightened at the time.
Chosen to,
Yeah, I think-
and could have chosen to fail.
Okay, that's fine. All right. He is not frightened, then that's fine. He remains immune. We're not immune to that, but the condition is suppressed for a little while longer.
Also,
Very
he
good.
needs to make a Constitution saving throw because he is concentrating on Hunter's Mark. So, what is this? What's the rule for that again? Is it 11?
So it's a con save, and it's half the damage you took.
Or
above
the
a 10.
greatest, the greater.
Which
Or above
Yeah.
it?
that's
Or 10?
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
a DC 10.
Oh, that is a nat 1 and a 3 plus a 4 is nat 1 automatically fails, or can I potentially roll my d6 and get it above a 10?
You can have your bardic inspiration for this. That's
Sure. Let's see what happens. Oh,
and
that's
it's
a
a save,
6.
so you get, and it's a save,
no,
so
you
you
get
get
your
bless.
D4 for a save. Yeah.
That was including bless, but still, that still equals 14 all up.
Okay.
So,
there you go.
yay.
Concentration state.
Yay. All
Good.
right.
All right, Arindus.
Arindus is going to channel divinity, and she's going to shout at Bren and the doppelganger that now looks like, I'm assuming, Bren's father. Don't be fooled, child. That is not your father. It is simply death wearing his face. And I'm going to use channel divinity, Path to the Grave, on the one that looks like Bryn's dad, so the squire. So the next time that it's hit by an ally or myself,
It's vulnerable.
that creature is vulnerable to all of the damage.
I'm listening to season 2 of Critical Role at the moment, and I'm loving the Grave Cleric. That might be the next convention.
I played D&D for, I don't know, 35 years, and I play almost always clerics. Like, I can count on the things of one hand when I play something up on that cleric. Very sad. And I'm going to cast Healing Word on Heave as a bonus action.
Okay.
Oh, that's very nice. And does that heal for full amount? I played a Grave Cleric in my last campaign, and I just remember that was just very useful.
No, I think it automatically heals for full amount if you're at 0 hit points. So if you're trying to
that's
bring
it.
back from the
Yes.
grey, from the
That was it.
edge,
Yes. Okay.
it'll automatically heal to full.
Yep.
And it's
Not quite there yet.
For you 8.
I will take the 8. Thank you very much.
Okay. The gunner still chained up. He can't do anything. Ark.
So, Ark is going to cast something that you've not quite seen before. I'm just confirming that we are happy that the Doppelganger, Squire, and Captain are both within a 10-foot radius sphere. Yeah. Both of them need to make a Constitution saving throw.
That's a 10-foot radius.
Yes.
Yeah.
18
so that's,
foot.
yes,
Did you say?
that's.
Yeah.
I was like, they're about 20 feet apart, but that don't, like, if it's radius, then that's fine.
Yeah, it's radius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, saving throw con save.
DC 13.
They fail.
Excellent. So they both take 9 necrotic damage. But that might be doubled for the squire based on what Arindus has just done.
Yep. So he takes 18 points of damage.
And just for a bit of thematic, any like little weeds growing up through the cracks also wither in that sphere. But with wither and bloom, one creature of my choice, which in this case will be me, can spend and roll one of its unspent hit dice and regain some hit points.
Excellent. All right.
That's
That
the end
brings
of my
us
turn.
On to Bren. Bren is going another attack at the Doppelganger, who is wearing his father's face. So he misses, he swings wide, and he looks
That's including his
shaky.
D4. He's also blessed.
Is also blessed. So he rolled a 5 and a 7. Yeah, even if he rolled a 4, he would have missed. Yeah. So he misses. And that brings us to Heave.
So Heave's going to spend a bonus action to activate Planar Warrior, so he can deal an extra 1d8 of force damage to a target that he sees within 30 feet, which is going to be the guard captain. So he is going to attack the guard captain. First attack. That's not great. That is 15 to hit.
It hits.
Hey, that's great. So that's going to be the Hunter's Mark of 1d6 plus the 1d6 for the Scimitar plus 1d8 for planar warrior. That is a total of 16 points of force damage for the first hit.
Yep.
And the second one is just a set and to hit. We'll see how that goes. 11 plus 5 is 16.
That hits.
Oh, sorry, that's 11 plus 7. That's 18. Sweet. Okay. And then 2d6, because it's using the short sword. That is 9 slashing. How's this captain looking?
He looks very poorly. So you swing, it cleaves through his chest, and the backhand from your short sword cleaves another big gash through his abdomen, and he's on his knees, gasping and wheezing, just clinging to life.
You should have just kept your word and gave us amnesty.
Okay.
All right, that's turn.
The doppelganger who's wearing Bren's father's face, it's his turn now. And he's seeing what's happened to his compatriot, and he's pretty enraged. He's going to slam. 13 doesn't hit.
Nope.
22 does.
Yeah.
13 bludgeoning damage. And it's going to move. He's going to move towards.
Bren gets an opportunity attack, and so does Ark.
Yeah. Both. So Bren, Ark, and Lexi.
And Lexi.
You want to make
Very.
melee weapon attacks?
With bless.
With bless, yes.
And you have inspiration if you want to use that.
I'm adding my bless manually.
I was going to say I need to add some stuff here. So
Where is that bard anyway? He was like there and then he just disappeared.
No, you walked past him and you stopped to listen to one song, and
Oh,
just
okay.
happened to be a really inspiring song.
12 to hit?
17
The 12 misses, the 17 hits.
And
for
what did Brent get?
three slashing damage with my dagger.
The creature hisses, but just keeps charging towards Heave. It's Bren with a D4. Bren just hits it. Bren, seeing this figure wearing the face of his father, he shakes himself back into some semblance of being able to fight, and he does 7 damage.
Ooh.
Okay. That brings us down to Mara, who is attacking the swarm of hands, hoping that, yeah, that's good. And so she hits. You can hear the little bit of combat happening further down the wall. Irindis can just see it, that Mara is slashing away at this swarm of fleshy hands and things that are trying to climb all over them. Lexi.
I am going to attempt again to hit the doppelganger with the longsword, the one that's closest to me. And if I add my best at, it's a 14 to hit.
Hits.
With a 7 slashing damage on him.
Okay. So it's taken a couple of big, deep gashes from swords as he's rushed past, and he pulls up just next to Heave, and you've managed to again stick the longsword into his back, and you hear it hit something solid, but he ignores you now, just focused on this air genasi scum in front of him. Okay.
Can anyone pick locks and release these convict gunners to be our friends and help us?
I can, but I'm a little bit tied up.
So are they.
Not the way we like it either.
So yeah,
Oh.
the one that's on the ground next to him is still close to death. The other guy though, the one that got healed, is like, yeah, set me free. I'll definitely help.
Shit.
Inside roll.
Inside.
Can I roll inside?
So convincing, Sean.
Yeah, you don't have to roll insight. You're pretty sure that releasing him would be a bad idea.
Okay, all right.
Okay, and you hear again another twang and another thump of flesh, and you hear this thump of flesh all over the tower. And the crawling craws lands between Lexi and Ark, as if it's almost poetic, the way that the sack of fleshy hands just splits open between you. It is going to attack Lexi.
Oh,
11 doesn't hit,
it does not.
and it's going to attack Ark with a 9. Okay, so it doesn't hit. You guys just brush away the hands, which are more gently groping than clawing at the moment, and that's the end of their turn. And that brings us back to the top of the order, and the Doppelganger captain, who is just clinging to life. He's on his knees, he's gasping, he looks up at Heave.
He looks, stares down into his eyes and goes, "Yield."
He looks past Heave at the convict that's on the ground bleeding to death, or nearly bleeding to death, and he makes a slam attack against Heave. 10 doesn't hit. And his second attack hits the convict, and you just see the convict lapse into unconsciousness as blood starts to flow more heavily from his wounds. And the captain, the doppelganger captain, is now going to... He can't run anywhere without attracting...
You can try.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. So he's just going to stay there on his knees and glare defiantly at you. Horrendous.
Horrendous is going to 10 rounds.
Okay. We're good. All right.
Horrendous is going to fly 30 feet round, and then she's going to Thorn Whip Bryn's dad.
Nice.
So that is a 16 to hit.
That hits.
Okay. Which is 5 damage, and he's pulled 10 feet up. Because he's pulled 10 feet towards me, and I'm in the air.
Okay.
Does that mean Lexi would get a opportunity attack?
It's forced.
I don't think so, because it's forced movement.
Mm.
But I'm aiming to pull him off the tower,
Okay.
so that when the Thorn Whip releases, he falls into the courtyard.
Okay. Yep. Play. All right. That's your turn.
And then my... Yeah, no, that's a spell. So no, that'd be my action. Bonus action. No, that's fine. Can't cast 2 spells. So that's fine.
As you guys see Arindis, her black wings gliding through the air, and she yanks the doppelganger off of the tower with this whip of thorns that she conjures, and then just drops him from 30 feet in the air, and 40 feet in the air, and you hear a thump, but as you look down, you can't see our body anywhere. But that doppelganger appears to be... They're either dead or they've escaped. Okay. Ark.
From where I'm standing and knowing I've heard a thump on the walls, can I see that siege mangonel?
It's a bit of forest between you, so I guess it would be a perception check. Arindis didn't really see it before, and the guards that did see it are busy.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, you can't see the mangonel.
That's all right. I won't tell anyone about it if I don't know it's there. All right. I am going to twin spell firebolt, one at the doppelganger captain and one at the crawling hands. And I'm going to get my bless adds, so that's 16 to hit.
Is that the captain that you're the 16, or are you rolling both together?
I'm rolling for both, yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's twin spelled. Yep. Yeah, so it hits captain, who only has 1 HP, so whatever you roll for damage, he's dead.
Excellent.
And it also hits the swarm of hands. I'll go ahead and roll
Right,
some damage.
so 4 fire damage.
4 fire damage for the hands.
Yep.
And you see this ball of fire erupt from both directions from Ark, and you see the insolent doppelganger captain, haughty to the last, as the firebolt smacks him square in the face, and he dies.
And am I far enough away from the crawling hands that I wouldn't take opportunity attack if I backed off a bit?
No, you're in there.
Okay, that's fine. I'll stay where I am then.
Okay.
And I will just say, hey, Lexi, love you.
You too.
That's the end of my turn.
It's definitely not going to leverage that kind of emotion by
Heave.
vocalizing.
Oh, yes, you are. You totally are.
It's Bren's turn, and seeing his father die in front of him again, he's going to make a con save. Which he scores a 20. The fire comes back in his eyes, and he sees now his casters who've been keeping them alive for the last few hours, surrounded by crawling fleshy hands. So he's going to wade in and try and take on some of these hands. So he's going to roll.
Oh, Bren.
18, so he hits and does 8 points of damage to the fleshy hands. He's the only guy without formal military training, and he seems to be the most effective of all three guards.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he's a keeper. If anyone needs him for the party later, I'll give you the character sheet. Heave, you're up.
So, Heave just had his scimitar in his hand, ready to plunge down or ready to slash down, when suddenly the guard captain catches on fire. And I was like, oh.
And it's a bit
And
like
is it-
that Legolas and Gimli moment where
Yes,
he
exactly.
won, and he's like, I got 17.
Yeah. So then Ark looks around. So one of the convicts is down. Is that right?
So the convict in front of you is bleeding out.
Okay. So he's right in front of me? That's great. So then that means I
You
can
might also notice if you're glancing up at Ark, who's just shot the other guy. Ark is not looking particularly crash hot.
Okay.
Ark
So
looks terrible. You can also hear painful screams coming from the battlements, I guess, below you.
Okay. So let's see. How close is Ark to me? Just trying to see that.
20 feet.
Do I have
10
the
feet.
cross pass? Do I have the cross? Actually, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to cast Healing Word, 2d4 plus 4. 9 hit points
Thank
That's
you.
Ark.
for Ark. Then Heave's going to look around to see where that bag of hands came from.
Okay.
Would I be able to make a
Roll
perception
your
check?
Perception check.
For fuck's sake, it was nat 1 and a 1 on a bless, so that's a 2, plus my perception of plus 8 is a 10. Oh, that
Yeah.
was...
You think it's from somewhere outside the castle.
I was too focused. My mind's so messed up because I got that kill taken from me.
Yeah.
And that's why
Kill
you got
stealing is
distracted.
frowned upon. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Is the perception
That's
check
it.
my action?
That's
Okay.
your ad. Yeah. Action,
Yeah,
bonus
pass.
action. That'll do it. The convict gunner is going to roll, which he feels. Okay, and then down on the wall, roll for her. Nope, she doesn't hit shit with that. Talon is. Okay, and Lexi, you're up.
For us, 5. What am I doing? A 5-foot cube that sitting just north of myself and like basically covering as much of the hands as possible without covering me or Ark or Bren. I'm going to make
5-foot cube, yep.
another bonfire, please,
No, okay. 5-foot
Mm.
cube.
on those guys. Are they a creature, technically?
Think that they're a monstrosity, but I will.
I think they're undead.
If they've got decks, they have to
Crawling
roll.
force.
Yeah. Swarm of Crawling Claws, medium swarm, tiny undead.
So they have,
they're undead.
so
They have-
yeah,
correct.
so they need to make a dex save.
Dope. Which they are doing, and I'm multitasking fully. Dex save
Oh, and I just need to clarify, I clearly just dropped concentration.
on your calm emotion.
Yes.
Yes, because the
That's fine, because no one's
other
left
dudes are
frightened.
dead. Yeah.
Good. Swarm of Crawling Claws is a 20 on the dex save.
Oh, wow.
Nimble little hands.
Damn it. Okay,
Lots
my
of
fire
elf
there
hands
now, I
again.
guess.
You have a really good piano crew of that.
Yes.
Yeah, one of those like really complex organs. Yeah.
Yeah. Or jazz pianist.
I think the next campaign is like Heave and his band of musical hands and the fancy bars.
Oh, yes. That would be epic.
Yeah, we could capture these and you could like
Yeah.
turn them
Befriend them
into
or
it.
something.
I'll
Mm.
write. I'll write this. I'll write the law. Don't worry. Okay. All right. On initiative count 7, you hear a twanging noise off in the distance, and you don't hear anything. You hear an impact. Nothing happens that you can see. And we're back up to Orindis at the. Yeah, we're back up to
Okay.
Orindis at the start of the initiative order.
Can I try and see what this twanging noise thing is?
Yeah. So you're
So-
flying. You can have a perception check with advantage because of your height.
Oh, yeah. Right, so that's a crit for a 24.
And great. So you see in the distance, probably, I'll tell you exactly how far it is from the tower. 120 feet from the tower, just hidden a little bit by the foliage, is this mangonel catapult-like contraption that looks like it's been hodgepodge assembled from all kinds of bits and pieces, and it's crewed by, there's a couple of skeletons that are working to load it with sacks, and that's what's making that twanging noise.
Okay, that's helpful. I point that out. I point at it and go, it's over there. They're throwing things at us. And
Oh.
then I'm going to. How sick is up? Not great.
As bad as before.
Pretty bloody by the looks of it.
Right.
Bloody cleric like that. I'm going to channel Divinity Path to the Brave on the crawling claw thing so that the next attacks on it, it has vulnerability to whatever damage is dealt on it. So I'm going to use my other channel divinity on that. And then I'm going to bonus action healing word on Ark.
Okay. Roll some healing for that. And the
The
Oh, thank you.
ability to. Okay.
So Ark is looking like amazing now. New woman. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You always
It's
looked
all
amazing.
brushed up. Okay, the convict gunner on your side, the guy who goes, no, seriously, guys, let me out. I'm done. It takes 2 of us to fire this thing anyway. Let me out. Like, I'm done.
Yep.
That's his turn. And Ark, it's your turn.
So Ark is going to. Let me just think about how I'm going to attack these. Before his hand.
I think we're going to need to try that ballista thing at that mangonel.
Is anyone able to heal the other convict?
Yes, but not until we get round again.
Bren, can you help me figure out how to fire this thing? Can I see I can remain within the melee range of the hands, but can I see what I can figure out about this crossbow thing?
Yeah.
Crossbow?
So
Oh,
it looks like a giant crossbow that's like on a pivoting sort of platform. What you can work out is it needs to be loaded, which is an action, and
yeah.
aimed, which is an action. And then once those two actions are done, it can be fired. You also, whose check are we doing? Is it an arc?
Yeah.
Who is a sorcerer? Arc roll and arcana check.
Unnatural 20.
Oh, okay. Then you recognize that the ballista is covered in runes. And you vaguely recall the bard who was singing a song about historical battles here at Ironspire, talking about the Thunder Ballista. So you touch the runes, and just the act of reading them aloud, and you see the bolt that's in the ballista crackle with lightning and thunder.
So there's a bolt currently in the ballista.
There's a bolt. It's loaded. It's just not aimed.
All right, can I aim the ballista?
You can.
Why are there new swarms of hands? It's not that turn yet.
No,
Yeah, I was
sorry,
wondering that.
You couldn't see that yet. Apologies.
So I want to aim it at the synced mangonel.
Okay. All right. So that's your action, and it's already loaded, so it'll fire now on its turn, which I will turn back on. Okay.
And is the firing something that is part of Ark's action, because Ark is lucky and that might affect dice rolls and so on?
The best you can tell, once it's loaded and aimed, it seems to fire itself, and there's not really an action for the firing. So
Okay.
no, you wouldn't be able to bless it or
Use
buff it.
my luck. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was
No worries. That is the end of Ark's turn in that case.
okay. Bren is up, and Bren is going to swing his sword at the hands.
And they're
Yeah.
vulnerable
Yeah.
to this.
Oh, that's exciting. He deals them a total of 6 damage. It's the vulnerability. Okay, and that brings us Heave. All right.
All right.
What do you got?
Heave is going to use his movement to move to the edge of the wall, and he sees 2 skeletons loading up the mangonel.
Yeah. Yes, with your perception, you can make out that there's 2 shapes that look like skeletons operating the mangonel.
Yep. And let's see. So I believe that is 135 feet within the sight of my longbow. So before I attack, I'm going to use Healing Word, my last spell slot, Healing Word, to bring up the convict, so the ballista can be ready to go for the next round afterwards. And then, so that would be, let's see, what is it? 2d4 plus 8. Convict gets a total of 7 hit points. And then he's just going to do a straight attack, no frills on the, with the arrow seal will be dipped in holy water at this point?
Yeah, they were all dipped in holy water. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Let's see. First 2 hit.
While you're throwing that arrow, the mostly dead convict gasps back to life and goes, "Oh God, it was a life sentence. I'm free now."
No, not just yet. Just a little bit longer, and then we'll sort something out. Either way, Heave got a nat 1, so that would have definitely missed.
Yeah, the arrow just like belly flops into the dirt. Okay.
Yep. And that's turn.
Okay, so the other gunner he's up, so he's takes his turn to load. Sorry, the ballista's already loaded and it's aimed, so he's ready. He's going to hold his action to load it once it fires. Mara, no one's really checked on for a while, but you can hear her fighting.
It's not like we
something.
haven't wanted to.
You hear her fighting something, and she screams loudly, and then you don't hear any more noise from Mara. Okay, and that. "40 feet. Hey, that's exciting." Okay. It's 30 feet. Lexi, it's your turn.
We have 2 daggers. Am I allowed to use the 2 of them for the 2 weapon fighting? Because technically they're 2 different weapons because there's one in each hand, or does it not
Yep.
count?
Yeah, they
considered-
both have the light property, so you can
Yeah.
use 2 daggers. Yep.
Because I think I really want to attack these hands more and have maybe some hope
Yeah.
of actually hitting.
Yeah.
And we've still got Bless in place, yeah?
Yeah, I lost track of how long that's a minute, isn't it? What?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
so
still up.
probably.
No, that's still up.
Cool.
So
You
it's
try to
an
stack
8.
hand
and
and
you've got your inspiration dice as well.
Dances around you.
Actually, that's a point. Hold on. No, wait. I'm using the inspo on that one. And Ark's just yelling, remember the song that Bard sang? Yep. Hold on. 8 plus 3 is 11. No, it's still not going to hit, is it?
It does not.
Okay. So with my
The
other
hand,
one,
just the hand, what the hand that you're trying to stack gives you the finger, and then keeps.
I say, fuck you too. And then I try with my other hand. And that is a
This time you skewer
23
it with
to
the dagger.
hit. And that one can have 4 damage.
Okay.
I like to think just that one finger it had up, you just sliced it off. Yes.
Yeah.
Missed it
That's
with one,
exactly
sliced
what
it
just
off with the
happened.
other.
All right. Now the siege equipment goes at the same time. In fact, the mangonel slightly before the ballista. So you hear a twanging noise, and then you hear this sort of ratcheting noise from the ballista and this enormous thump as the ballista fires. And immediately the convicts go to work loading, re-aiming it. So they're going to sort that bit out. And it's an 8. So the giant energy-infused bolt just falls short of the mangonel. And the swarm of claws that is currently on fire. Is it the start of the turn or the end of the turn it takes damage?
The end of the turn if they're still in it.
Okay. So it's going to move and it's going to.
In that case, can I
attack.
have an opportunity attack as it moves?
It's gonna. No, it's still within 5 feet of.
Not
No, it'll move out of your melee. So yeah, you can have an attack of opportunity, but Bren won't.
Cool, that's a 26 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
And 2 damage.
Damn it. And that swarm of crawling claws attacks the convict. Does 23 damage. The convict is ripped apart by the swarm of claws.
Wow.
It does
Waste of the spell
twice
slot.
his max hit points damage. So he is
That
dead.
hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. the twang and the splat the twang that you heard before without a splat, you now realize that the claws opened, the bag of claws opened on the far side of the tower, and you see this swarm of crawling claws climbing the walls of the battlements behind Lexi, and they're going to take their movement, come to there, and they're going to attack Lexi for 21 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
17 points of
Holy
necrotic damage.
I like to use my reaction. I'm still gonna have to take
An
17.
opportunity attack.
Oh, yeah.
Reaction.
It's... Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Still breathing. I'm fine.
Still going. She's good. Ark is looking in one direction. She sees this convict just ripped apart by hands, and she turns around and there's more hands climbing over the wall and starting to pull and tear at Lexi. And we're back to Arindis at the top of the order.
I am not sure this is a winnable fight at this point.
And we have to stop them shooting more hands at us. It's like the only...
My plan was to attack the skeletons, not the siege machine.
Yeah, no, I think the problem is, so we've got, what, 2 sets of crawling claws. What, is that 2 or 3 up on the top? We've got
So
one, we've got a shadow incoming.
There's 2 swarms on the tower.
There's a shadow down here.
Arindis is the only one who will have seen that shadow, which is the
And then this, and then the mangonel
of the guards.
The mangonel that's firing.
Maybe we should just find another position unless someone wants to operate the ballista.
I think we're going to
So
get hit.
it is loaded. It is loaded. It hasn't been aimed. The guard who was supposed to aim it was the one that got ripped to shreds.
Yeah. Irendis is going to fly over and aim the ballista.
Okay. So you aim ballista.
Yeah.
Okay, so on its turn it will fire.
And then she's going to go back to flying above it. So she'll use her movement to go in and aim it. And then she's got any movement. She'll just go, oh, yeah.
Okay. Arc.
So, having seen what these claws have done to the convict and then seeing claws come for Lexi, is got this sort of dark energy that she's working with. And just as you saw before, there's this 10-foot radius sphere, and both sets of swarming claws need to make the Constitution saving throw, please.
Yeah. Turns out not a lot of Constitution.
DC 13.
11 and 6, they both fail.
Excellent. So they both take 5 necrotic damage. And Lexi, can you please roll one of your unspent hit dice and regain that number of hit points plus my spellcasting ability modifier, which I will tell you in a second. Plus 3.
Find my hit dice.
I clicked on the short rest button just to see what it was.
Yeah, that's 1d8. And so plus 3 from you.
Yeah.
So 5 plus 3 is an 8. Thank you.
Okay. So Arc does this Wither and Bloom and use this necrotic energy and start to melt some of the hands, some of the flesh on the hands. While you're doing that, Bren is going to swing his short sword at some hands, and he is going to miss them entirely. And a Heave, it's your turn.
Heave's going to use his bonus action to mark one of the skeletons at the mangonel as his target using Planar Warrior. And then he's going to try to attack that skeleton with his longbow. Oh, that's a lot better. So that is 28 to hit.
That hits.
Yep. All right. So 2d8 plus 5. Oh, that's better. So that's 17 force damage.
Okay, you see the skeleton crumple.
Yeah. Okay, so that. And then so he looks back at the other guy and goes, half the team down. And that's my turn.
Okay. The convict gunner, the one who's alive, is going to hold his action to load the ballista after it fires. The swarm, the third swarm, the newest one that's climbed over the back of the castle, back of the keep, is going to attack Lexi. 24 to hit.
That it's
19 necrotic damage.
Oh.
I'm down.
Lexi goes
No.
in a dog pile of hands that are just ripping, pulling, and gouging. And
I can't really react if I'm like down, can I?
no,
Just can't react on my way down.
what do you got?
I've got a hellish rebuke.
Mm.
Can
Oh,
I
I
like
think he's gonna
swear at them
Yeah,
as I become un-
if I've learned anything about Lexi so far, it's it would have the last word. So
Yeah, she would definitely be yelling at them.
yeah,
Look, it is a dex save, and so let's be honest, they're probably going to do quite well. But
yeah.
I would like to swear at them profusely and hold up my feet.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, dex save, please.
The button said what I'm going to have it roll it. So I'll try 7. Natural 20.
Okay, so that's a
It's
save.
the
that
second
you-
time.
But you still get half of my damage.
Okay.
So that's
Sure.
half of my 15 fire damage
Okay. I will
as I become unconscious.
7 points of the fire damage. Okay. And that is, so we're into the siege weapons. So the mangonel can't fire because it doesn't have enough crew. And the tower ballista does fire. For fuck's sake. Plus 6, 24, and it will damage. 14 damage to the siege mangonel, and you can see it's starting to fall apart. Okay, and then the swarms of hands. So there's one swarm of hands it's going to disappear from the initiative order. It is going into the town to murder and pillage people. And
Oh.
I killed the wrong one. The other one is the one that was been up here though. There we go. They're gonna do an attack against Bren. So he keeps trying to hit them with a sword. 23 to hit. 32 damage. Bren is pulled apart.
Oh.
This young farm boy that you've developed a bit of affection for and who's had a really rough 24 hours is literally made into more hands by this swarm of hands. Top of the
They
order.
still be
Arena.
with his family.
What a fucking waste.
I would be sad if I was conscious to be sad.
This is going to make you conscious so you can be sad. But for that to be 12 because you're at 0, so Those definitely
Thank you so
maximum.
much. Part of my backstory is I had alexithymia and I didn't know how to feel things. So you brought me back just to let me feel something shit. Like,
They like you've learned how to feel some things.
I've learned how to feel some things. Yeah, just say.
Oh yeah, your bonfire drops too. Sorry.
Come back to consciousness, and I'm like, oh yeah, there are the feels. Wait, who died?
So you see missing from around you. Oh, I think you saw the convict go, but you didn't. You can't see Brent anymore.
Where's Brent?
We got to get away from these fucking hands.
So I've used a spell as a bonus action. I'm going to Thorn Whip as an action. And I thought try and pull one of those sets of hands off the tower. So 18, where am I? 24 to hit. So that's I think it's 3 piercing damage, and I'm going to pull it 10 feet and try and pull it off the edge of the tower. So
Yeah. Make a dexterity check for me
okay,
to see that you can control the whip that they're climbing up towards you.
nice.
Mm.
Oh, relatives. It's 19. So my dexterity is +1 either way, so 19.
Yeah. So you whip them, they take 3 points of damage, and then you drop them 40 feet down. Inside or outside the tower?
Oh, back on the outside.
Yeah, good.
Flick them back out into the forest.
That's good. Okay, so we are down there, and they're going to take
46.
46 of falling damage, 14, 18 points of falling damage. Okay. Brings us to Ark.
Yeah, Ark is really not enjoying these crawling hands, and I'm going to say to Lexi and Heave, and maybe the gunner, I think we need to try and make a plan to get away from these things. This isn't great.
The gunner says, "Fuck yeah, let me out."
And
I can cast Feather Fall, and we could just jump off the tower to safety.
I'm okay now, thanks to you guys, but like Lexi needs some help. Maybe do that for Lexi.
I don't have any other spell slots. This is a race ability.
Okay.
So basically, the only spell I have is Feather Fall.
For yourself or for others?
No, for everyone. I can target 5 creatures within range. 5 fallen creatures within range.
Okay. That might be a good plan. At the moment, this ballista we've got 1 convict. So is it aimed, or where are we up
It is
to?
loaded, but not aimed.
Okay. This convict is going to have a turn before the ballista has a turn. So I'll say to the convict,
And
you want your
aim
second
this
chance,
thing.
aim this thing, and I'm going to attack the hands for the next Lexi and I with shocking grasp.
Cool, yeah, you handshake a couple of them and deliver this.
Yeah,
Mm.
18 to hit.
Yeah.
And 7 lightning damage.
Okay. They are looking bloodied. There are a number of hands that are just fried by your electric shock. And there's still a few around, and the ones that are around look angry. And it's Heave's go.
Okay. With the other skeleton, just the mangonel having just 1 skeleton,
Yeah.
can it fire at all? Is it firing at half pace?
Cannot fire. Not that you would know
Okay.
that, but for the
Not that I
purpose
would
of
know that.
expediency,
Yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty sure it can't fire.
Okay. So I guess what would he do? He would still probably just try to attack that skeleton, just so that way it's just a dead machine on the end, and then he could still be able to run, jump, and then cast Featherfall as a reaction. So Heave is going to try to attack the last skeleton of the mangonel, just because he doesn't know better. So that's 6 plus 9, 15 to hit. Hits. Okay. Going to use a bonus action as well for that, just for the Planar Warrior. And that is 9 plus 5 is 14 force damage.
And you see the other skeleton from.
Yep. All right. Is at this point, Heave has used his action and bonus action, decides to go, all right, guys, time to move, time to get away from these hands, and then
Before you jump,
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
just gonna. So the Featherfall
Yep.
spell, the target
Mhm.
falling creatures. So if you cast it
okay.
now, you are the only falling creature,
Sure.
which you would know because it's a
Yeah.
race ability.
You need to be ready to go.
Yeah, sure. So I have to wait for everyone's ready at the same time. Okay.
Or hold the
That
jump.
is A-okay. Yeah. Can I do that? Am I able to hold a jump as a reaction?
So
That's getting
technically
to
no,
answer.
but I think
Yeah.
narratively, I think yes. That's I think we're.
It makes
That's,
sense.
yeah, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay. Everybody ready? Everybody ready up? And then I just get ready to jump, and I'm waiting to cast Featherfall.
Yep. Now everyone rolls insight to see if he's actually going to jump. Okay. So on Heave's turn, so after Heave, there's the convict gunner who, as instructed, aims the ballista. So that's sorted out. The swarm of crawling claws is now bloodied and angry and was shocking grasp by this sorcerer. So he's going to try and claw the eyes out of Ark, which doesn't fully.
We'll
Yes,
just
they-
skip it. That's fine.
They missed.
Yeah, 15.
No, misses.
Okay, so claws miss your eyes. Oh, there you go. You're lucky that I didn't get the beyond roll because the beyond roll was 18. Sad. That's okay. The other one goes after Lexi. So Lexi, you have returned to consciousness, and you're still surrounded by some claws, but not as many as you were before.
Yeah, but they just tried to attack Ark. Attack Ark. Oops. Press the wrong button. Yep, so the first one doesn't hit.
Dodges.
But I
Second one
think
hits.
I can hit with the second one. And that's 3
3 points of damage. Okay.
You little active cat.
Okay. Anything else on your turn? You tapped.
No,
Get
'cause I'm
ready
not-
to jump.
The only thing that I would say then is, can I hold my movement in the sense of I'll wait to go with Ark?
If you're
but
all,
I-
yeah, I think if you're all gonna jump together, I'm happy. That's narratively what we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Technically, yeah.
Because I wouldn't try to run over and leave her behind.
No, it's fair. Okay. The siege mangonel cannot fire. The tower ballista can. 26 to hit. 19 damage. You see the siege mangonel explode in like thunder and lightning. And then the swarm of crawling claws that got dropped off the side of the building are going to start climbing. So they've got a 30-foot climb speed, so they're going to make it most of the way up the wall on the far side, but they're not going to quite get to you. And it's back to Arindus at the start of the order.
I'm going to hold my turn until everybody jumps.
Okay.
and there's nobody on the top of it because I'm flying until everybody's off the top of this tower.
Okay. Ark.
I am seeing these hands looking not great. And so before I try and jump, I'm going to try and shocking grasp again.
Or disengage so you don't get hit.
Have we still got bless?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's a 14 to hit. I'm more worried about Lexi getting an opportunity attack than me. And it's only 2 lightning damage this time. Like, I can take an opportunity attack at the moment if I need to.
Okay.
And then staying within its melee, I'll move slightly further towards the wall so I'm ready to go.
In that case, if you provoke the opportunity attack, then Lexi can move without taking an opportunity attack.
Actually, that's true.
So if you move to the wall, it may get an opportunity attack, but then it cannot get an opportunity attack on Lexi.
Doesn't it have a turn before Lexi does?
Yes.
Ah.
It'll-
But she's held her movement.
I
But
held
she's
my
held
movement
she is,
though
yeah.
with Emma though.
Okay, great.
With Mark.
All right, great. Let's go.
If you think she'll
And-
go with you.
Then, yeah, I would go with you. And
Okay,
so
as
I'll
you-
take the
as you
opportunity
go,
attack.
It'll do the opportunity attack. 13 does not hit. So the hands grasp at you, and you both lined up on the edge of the wall, ready to go, as was Heave.
Is the
Yeah.
gunner free?
Nope.
No.
Right, okay.
Salisbury. Okay, that brings. Well, I mean, it's the gunner. The gunner has a turn, and he sees you guys looking to jump
Well-
or attack. He's like, no, can't go. I think we've got this, guys. At least leave me like a knife or something.
I'll
I'm
drop a
happy,
dagger.
I'm happy to toss him my dagger. Like one of my
Okay,
daggers.
his hands are chained, so like you throw the dagger and it like lands just out of his reach. And then the claws will get their attack, will get their movement. They will, seeing you all trying to flee, they're gonna grab at. They're gonna grab at Lexi. This Lexi is the one that they've had like the most success with, and they're going to try and grapple Lexi.
Shit.
So, can you roll athletics or acrobatics? Your choice.
Give me a moment. This is when I'm allowed to add my default.
Yeah, it's
Well,
a.
they not have all, I thought they could have all gone by now because
Yeah, I thought we would have been able to
No, they
jump.
probably
they
have
should have
gone
all
by.
been able to go because Lexi held her
So-
movement to go. Heave had
With
his-
Mark and Heave was waiting for us.
Yeah, he voiced held on.
Yeah.
So once they were all together, they should have just all gone as a held action, I think.
Yeah.
I might be wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, I thought
Because
they
they'd
were
all
gonna
managed to
let you-
hold their.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
they-
really
they
wants
kind
the
of
opportunity to kill
lined up.
me again.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even want to kill you. I just want to grapple you, to be honest. Just to see. No, look, I think we did say. Yeah. No, we did say that everyone.
I mean,
had
did
that-
roll a
that-
4
that
there,
jumping
so if you're trying to
combination
grapple
action
me, it
helps.
probably worked.
Yeah, I know. I think we said that movement and jump action was held, and featherfall is triggered. Okay, so you all jump and you featherfall down.
Cold hands.
Assuming that Heave actually casts it.
No, Heave's cast it, and as he
Right.
does, he's jump. So as he casts it, he jumps, turns around to the hands, and especially the one that's climbing up onto the wall, and gives them "fuck you," and then and just falls.
And as he mutters the words for featherfall, you see the swarm of crawling claws that had followed Lexi launch itself off of the tower at you. So you're slowly drifting through the air.
Yeah,
So can all three of you make dexterity saves?
sure. Okay.
And we've got our
And if-
D4 as well.
Shoot them on the way
Yeah.
there.
Okay. Oh, that 20 plus 4 plus 7
Yeah.
is 31.
Various hands go flying past Heave. And Lexi
20.
also dodges them.
21.
But you
14.
like 1. Oh, 14. I was going to say 7. I was going to fight
Yeah,
again
no, it
for
was-
a hand to get arc, but there's plus. Okay, you'll dodge all of the hands, and they take several d6, which is probably going to be enough to end them. And given that you guys land with them, you'll probably finish them off in the next turn. So where we are is the castle remains under siege. Battle going on everywhere around you, or at least you're partly aware, Arindus is partly aware that Shadow and some hands have already made it into the town down the main pathway to the south there. There's another swarm of claws assailing the tower that you've just left. Now,
So I'm still on the town. So
roughly, yeah, you're 10 feet above the tower.
yeah, I'm going to land on the tower, and
Okay.
then I'm going to
Okay.
thunder wave those fucking claws off the edge of the tower.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just do
And
it.
then and then when I've done that, I'm going to spend however long it takes to unpick the lock on the gunner,
Oh,
Yeah.
and then I'll climb
Okay.
down the stairs.
Okay. Make 17 thieves tools checks for me until you.
Oh, I don't have thieves' tools. I'll sit there with a
Okay.
bloody hairpin or something.
that's
So
fine.
it will be like dexterity with negative
It
proficiency.
turns out that
And
he
guidance.
he's a former cat burglar, so he has expertise in thieves' tools. If you can just get him something, that's
Oh, I take his
So
advice.
you-
He can teach me.
yeah.
Hmm.
So you thunder away, and we won't even roll for it at this point in the night. The damaged claws that you'd already thrown off the tower once climbed back onto the battlements to be hit with this wave of thunderous energy. And you guys don't see it, but you hear an enormous as the thunder just destroys this set of crawling claws. As the remaining 2 or 3 claws that survive the fall on your side, you pick them up with your pose them in various suggestive or offensive poses. Arindus, you're able to, with the help of the cat burglar, you're able to, and I say cat burglar because he's tabaxi, you're able to quickly free him of his restraints, and he dashes down the stairs and out the base of the tower, and you...
I sacred flame the remains of Bryn. I sacred flame the remains of Bryn so that he does not
Oh,
come back undead or doppelganger. And then I hit them.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good. Okay. So, narratively, because we're going to leave it there because it's well over my allotted time.
Yeah.
But
Like all good one
narratively,
shots.
I was
Mhm.
going to say, Sean, I was really impressed that you were going to run a one shot in 2.5 hours. I was like, this is
well,
really
like,
cool.
That's the
I thought
published
maybe we
and-
were wrapping up before all of
Yeah.
this part started.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
well,
I'm
this
like,
is-
oh, that
this
was
is
not
the-
as hard as I thought.
This
But-
was the published running time is 2.5 hours, and you only did 2 of the 4 waves. So I have no
Yeah.
idea how they
Oh,
intended to
wow.
run in 2.5
And
hours.
we were pretty RP light. If we'd gone in for full
Yeah.
RP
Yeah.
there, we
Yeah.
we would have still been in the first one.
And we definitely wouldn't survive another 2 waves.
No.
Oh god, no.
No,
Just used up
so
every
what
single
you,
resource I
what
had.
you just had was what you just got was 2 and 3 smushed together.
Wow.
4, I think, would have been a bit of a challenge for you.
You'd
But
have
as
enjoyed
it
the
is-
TPK.
It's hard to get people to come back if you TPK them in your first one shot.
True.
So
Yeah.
narratively, you guys flee the tower and you hear this sort of noise as the remains of your friend Bryn are engulfed in radiant flame. You can't see, in fact, the remains of the other 2 guards are conspicuously missing. You can't see any of the other guards. That whole section of the wall is left unmanned, and you retreat into the town, where you see that on all sides the battle is going poorly, and there are guards and mercenaries and adventurers retreating down the walls in every direction towards the buildings of the city, and they're taking refuge in places of cover where they can, and that's where we leave it. You guys hunker down in the closest available building, and
Verinda says, I think we may be better retreating from this battle and finding who's behind this and stopping the hordes in at their source rather than simply deflecting the ground troops. Maybe we should just go to the source of the problem rather than
I agree.
win the war.
And let these poor people die?
No, suggest that they escape.
They're gonna die anyway, mate.
Like, they should just leave.
You get the impression that
They can always come back.
There wouldn't be a way easily of evacuating it. But that's where we leave your party and your adventure for the night.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for bearing with me through technical trouble that would have only struck a campaign, an adventure with like 45 monsters in it. Here I am constantly bitching about Roll20, Sarah, and I reckon Roll20 would have handled it better. Go.
Oh, I played Foundry, which handles
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. I don't roll 20. I do Foundry.
Will be the next one that I
Sure. Yeah, I was gonna say maybe Foundry's the next one we try
fiddle
then.
with.
Foundry's
Um,
awesome. Foundry's great.